And hello YouTube, this is GSmaniamsmart, and I'm today with a brand new video for tutorials of GS. Today's tutorial, we're looking at Photoshop and how to use displacement maps to enhance your text or to enhance any of your objects or layers to have a specific texture on top of it or behind it, so it makes it look like it's actually part of that texture layer. So today we're going to be working with text actually, but these steps do apply for any type of layer. If you have a rendered object or rendered character, any type of layers that you want to use to apply these effects to, you can do it, but we're just going to be using text today because it makes it very easy and very simple. But the same steps do apply. So first of all, what we're going to do is going to open up our texture, and I'm going to be using a street texture here that I found. Now be aware, the more realistic your texture is and the less artificial it is, or the better graphically designed your texture is and the less artificial it is, the better this is going to come out. As you can see, this texture is not that great. I mean, this is not how a street looks. It looks very artificial. So just be aware that the better your texture is, the better this will come out. So we have our texture here, and the first step you want to do is go into your channels palette, which is on the right side here. And what you want to do is find the channel that has the highest amount of contrast between the blue, green, and the red. Now we take a look at blue. There's not much contrast there. In fact, you want to have a lot of black and white. This one has no white at all. If we go here, this one has black and white, which is good. But if we compare it to the red channel, we see that the white is a little more contrast than the white in the green channel. So in this case, we do want to use the red channel because it has a lot more contrast than the other two channels here. So in our case, it's red channel. For you, it might be green or blue, but just make sure you pick one, whichever has the most amount of contrast. Once you have that selected, you can go ahead and right-click that channel and click Duplicate Channel. After that, you want to go ahead and change the document to New, and you want to go ahead and name your document whatever. We're just going to name it DP for displacement. After that, we're going to click OK, and that will create a new document for us with our channel here, which has turned into a layer. After that, we want to go up to Filters, Blur, go down to Gaussian Blur, and now this value can change depending on how large your image is or how high of a resolution you have your image at. Smaller images tend to need a lower amount of pixel value, while larger images tend to need a higher amount of pixel value. And the reason behind that is because the purpose of using this effect right here, the Gaussian blur, is to lower the sharpness of the details in your texture. So if you have a texture that's very detailed and a lot of details are very sharp, you want to lower that so it's not as sharp. It'll make the displacement mapping a lot easier for Photoshop to generate. So we're just going to go ahead and change this to perhaps 2, and we can preview that up here. If we change it to 1 or 0.5, I see it at the very top. You can see the result. I think we'll go with 1. 0.2. Yeah, we'll go with 1. 1 seems fine. So now that we have our Gaussian blur added, what we want to do next is go up to File, Save As, and you want to make sure that when you're saving it, you're saving it as a PSD file. It should save as a PSD file as default, but if for some reason it doesn't, make sure you save it as that. And we can go ahead and click Save. And after that, we can go ahead and close this entire document. Once we're back to our original document here, you want to go back to your channels, and you want to make sure that your RGB is selected so that all of your colors are back. Make sure that all these have little eyeballs here that are all activated. After that, you can go back to your layers. And from here on, we want to go ahead and add some text. So if you have a rendered character or a rendered object, you can go ahead and import that layer right now. But if you don't have anything, you just want to work with text, you want to create a text layer. If you have a logo already, if you already have some text created in Illustrator or already pre-rendered in Photoshop or in GIMP, then you can go ahead and import that layer here. But we're just going to go ahead and create a layer, and we're going to name it YouTube Avenue. We're going to go ahead and space this out a bit, like so. And in fact, just for the purpose of showing you how great this works, I'm gonna go ahead and add a, do I still have this on my desktop? The subscriber button. Oh, I guess I don't. Okay, so all I've done is basically dragged in my subscriber button here, and what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're actually gonna scale this down a bit, and I'm gonna have to drag it in again. So we're just gonna scale this down a bit. Oh, we don't want that. If you want to keep the aspect ratio the same, you want to hold down Shift. And I think right around there is fine. You can press Enter to place it down. And then we'll just have it here. I mean, not that big of a deal really. Or perhaps we can do something like this. Perhaps we can go to our text layer. And move that over some. And then we could have our subscriber button right here, or perhaps right here. I think that's fine right there. Now, if you're having multiple layers here, you want to make sure they're all in one layer. So you can go ahead and rasterize this layer. You want to make sure all of your layers are rasterized as well. And after that, you can then merge these down with clicking Merge Down. And you'll see that if you can click the eyeball here and everything disappears, then you have merged everything into one layer. So make sure that it's all merged down into one layer. Don't merge it down with your background layer. Make sure you don't do that. And make sure that it's rasterized. Once you have that done, we're going to go ahead and add our displacement map. So go up to Filters, go to Distort, go to Displace, and make sure you have the first and the second value set to 10, and make sure that you have for the first option Stretch to Fit and the second option Repeat Edge Pixels. Then go ahead and click OK. It's going to ask you for what texture you want to use or what displacement map you want to use. We've already created our displacement map and we've named it DP, so it's going to show up right here, dp.psd. Go ahead and open it, and you'll see that here it's sort of added the distortion to our layer here. And what we can do now is change the blending mode of the layer to overlay here. And we see we get this nice effect here that makes it look like it's actually part of the street. Now what you can do is you can duplicate this layer by right-clicking, clicking Duplicate, then OK. And if you want to lower the opacity a bit, perhaps to maybe 30 or 50 if you need two layers. I think 50 or 30 looks pretty good. 25? I think 30 looks good. So that's pretty much it. Just mess around with the opacity a bit. If you need to duplicate this once or twice, or if you don't need to duplicate it at all, then this is basically how it'll look in the end. Like I said, the better your texture is, the better this will come out. But this is how you create this nice looking neat effect. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty easy effect to create as well. And you can make some awesome designs with this. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, if you run into any problems or are confused about something, definitely leave in the comments below and I'll answer it. And we'll definitely be creating more Photoshop tutorials in the future. I already have a bunch of them on my channel if you want to go and check those out. But that's going to be it for now, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this video helped you out in any way. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It'll really help me out. If you didn't like it, you can leave a comment as well, giving some feedback. If you have any other comments or questions, please leave them in the comments as well, and I'll do my best to answer them. I usually respond to comments within 24 to 48 hours, depending on your question and depending on how busy I am. I have plenty of other content on my channel about different software tutorials and how-to videos, so if you're interested in that type of stuff, check it out. And if you like what you're seeing, you can subscribe too. Really appreciate it. You can also check out my other channels and social media as shown on the screen right now. And with that, thank you so much, everyone. And this is GSmaniamsmart, and I'll be back sooner than you think. Don't go anywhere.